Alright, so the rack and pinion is out on the Eclipse. Needs to be replaced. You're gonna need a 14mm socket on a ratchet. First thing you're gonna do is remove these plates. There's two of them. There's one right there, and there's one right here. Remove all those 14mm bolts. Alright, so that's what those plates look like. I have to get like 500 gallons of carb spray and clean those off. And clean off the bolts. Alright. Next is to take apart the tie rod. So get some needle nose pliers, pull out the cotter pin, and then take off the nut. Alright, so there's the castle nut that comes off. That was a 17mm. Next, you want to get a hammer and you want to hit it right there, and that should knock it loose so you can pull it up. Alright, so I've been beating on the tie rod right here and it's not coming loose, so next you get your jack, and this tie rod's getting replaced because the boot's cracked, so it doesn't matter if we damage the stud under there. So, jack, jack up some pressure on it. There, now when you hammer right here, it should pop off. There we go. Okay, next we got to get to the compression fittings on the rack. Disconnect it from the power steering hoses. Got to pull out your battery, pull out the battery tray, pull out your windshield washer fluid reservoir and your brake fluid reservoir. These are for the windshield washer fluid. It's two 10mm bolts, and for the brake fluid it's two 12mm bolts. Alright, now that you got your windshield washer fluid reservoir removed, move your brake fluid reservoir. You look down here, like, they designed this car pretty good. It's actually easy to get to. That, let's see, move these wires. That nut right there is what holds the rack and pinion to the steering column, and then those two hoses with those compression fittings, you want to undo those. Those go to your power steering hoses. So you undo those, and then after that we disconnect the rack mounts, and then the rack is disconnected. Oh, this one's kind of tight. Now, you are going to lose some fluid. Alright, now, once the rack is loose from the bottom, then we can wiggle those out. Alright, back under the car. You can see the fluid starting to leak right above where we disconnected the hoses. And then you can see these are the mount bolts right there. There's one right there, one behind the sway bar right there. Gotta do those. And then on this side too, you can see how bad mine was. Look at that boot. I mean, it's not even attached. Thing is garbage. So next, undo those. Those are, I think those are 17. check real quick for you. Yeah, those are 17 millimeter. So undo those, and then we should be able to drop out the rack. All right, let's see if I can do this with one hand. Okay, now the rack mounts are disconnected from the bottom. Should be able to pull these out and drop the rack. And then this just slides out of the steering column. Alright, I'm going to need both my hands. Alright, got them disconnected. The order that I did it in is the hose going to the front of the car I took out first. Then I disconnected the steering column. Then I was able to pull out this second hose. That's the order I did it. Alright, I didn't want to have to do this, but as you can see, the sway bar is in the way from the rack being able to drop down. So we're going to have to take out the sway bar. And it's got two mounts, just like the rack does. See that one over there? And you got to disconnect the sway bar end link, which is that little bar right there. And that is on both sides. So it's this disconnect right there. There's a little nut on the other side right here. Alright, so there's where the sway bar comes out. Connects to the little end link thing there, and then it comes up, and then there's the 14 millimeter nut on it. And behind it there's like a little hex shape where you can put a wrench on there to hold it from spinning. So do that on both sides. There we go. Okay, now that that's connected, inspect the boot. You look at mine here, it's torn open, so gotta get some new ones. This part is called the sway bar end link. Get two of them. Okay, so the sway bar is out, and that'll be easier to get the sway bar end links off, and I can put on some new ones. And I took it out the driver's side. I kind of had to like pull it out and just twist it and just keep twisting it until the angle was right and it came out. But now the rack dropped down. You can see how it fell completely out. I should be able to pull this out. There we go. Sweet. The rack is out. You know what? Looking at this, I don't think I had an O-ring right there on the fitting that it was supposed to. But I'll make sure it has one when they put in the next one.